Good morning, everyone. John Skinner, Regional Agronomy Manager, coming to you from a field in Henry County, Illinois, just outside of the town of Orion. As you can tell, obviously we got called to this field because we did have a GreenSnap event. About 7 days ago, we experienced some high winds after a rainstorm, and this particular hybrid at that time was vulnerable to a GreenSnap event. Right now, we're looking at corn that's in the V12 growth stage. We are about 4 leaves away from a fully emerged tassel in this field, so I wanted to touch on a few key points on what to expect. Generally, at a GreenSnap event during that V10 to V12 growth stage, we can expect to see a reduction in yield that correlates directly to the percent of GreenSnap. For example, this field here is about 15% GreenSnap as we look down the row and do our stand counts. So what I would expect to see as a ballpark would be about a 15% yield reduction. The reason for that is these neighboring plants have already done a lot of the activities that determine the length of the ear, the girth of the ear, things like that, so they don't have a lot of time to compensate for the lack of ear count that we see out here. The other thing I wanted to mention was when I look at GreenSnap, I always try and figure out a point at why it broke at where it did. So I dig up a plant, I check the root system, everything checks out there. It's white, healthy, has a good look to it, not experiencing any adverse effects on the root system. But as I investigate the plant, having it sliced open, is I do see an increase in internode length between the 8th and 9th node, and subsequently that's where these plants over here have been snapping, is at that 8th node. So what we experienced there was very good growing conditions, some timely rain events, and it caused this plant to grow rapidly. Ultimately good for the plant, but it did cause some reduction in cell wall strength in the nodes, as well as through the inner nodes here, which is why we are susceptible at that 8th node when the wind came through. Couple other factors that did increase the chance for GreenSnap out here. Fertility. This piece is extremely high fertility, is extremely good soil out here. It is muscatine silt loam, which promotes good early season growth. It does have good drainage, so this plant has a pretty carefree life as far as fertility goes. So high fertility, good growing conditions ultimately promote the risk of GreenSnap. This field also had tillage on it and spring applied nitrogen, so those are two other factors that do increase the risk for this GreenSnap to happen. And the final thing in this particular case was hybrid selection. We chose to use 5994 out here, a high yielding product on a good piece of dirt that also fit the harvest window that the grower was looking for, as well as the ability to be dry at harvest due to lack of a drying setup. So with the high fertility, spring applied nitrogen, high organic matter, and the hybrid selection here, also experiencing that rapid growth system that we did see, led to a vulnerable plant, obviously, that succumbed to some GreenSnap out here. Got any questions on GreenSnap moving forward? Just don't hesitate to give us a call. Thank you.